A family, a community are grieving the murder of a 13-year-old Lancaster girl. A makeshift memorial in Oak Cliff where she was found continues to grow. And tonight we're learning new details about the case. Investigators say 13-year-old Shavon Randle's life ended for one reason. Her cousin was dating someone who stole drugs from a motel room. But the circumstances surrounding that robbery and the subsequent kidnapping and killing of the girl and another man is far more complicated. Fox 4's James Rose has details. James.
Well, Clarice, the arrest warrant affidavits provide a timeline of events that led up to Shavon Randle's kidnapping and ultimately her murder. But the motive that investigators believe is the fact that those drugs, a large amount of drugs, were stolen. An arrest affidavit reveals it all started 2 days before 13-year-old Shavon Randle was kidnapped. Court documents say on Monday, the 26th of June, a large amount of narcotics were stolen at gunpoint from a woman at this Motel 6 on I-35 in Lancaster. The affidavit says it was Kendall Perkins who stole the drugs belonging to Darius Fields and Devontae Owens. 2 days later, on Wednesday morning, Lancaster police say 13-year-old Shavon Randle was kidnapped from her home in the 1300 block of South Ridge Drive. An affidavit says one of Shavon's cousins, identified as Ladoris Randle, told police she received a call from a man who told her if she called police, they would kill her. And in another threat, the affidavit says the suspect said, "Give us our expletive back or we are going to kill her." At that point, the affidavit says Ladoris told police her boyfriend, Kendall Perkins, stole a large amount of narcotics from some men, one she knew to be Darius Fields. At that point, an Amber Alert was issued for 13-year-old Shavon Randle. Thursday evening, police asked for help in locating 4 persons of interest. An anonymous informant told the FBI that a man she knew was going to kidnap a child to get his narcotics back. According to the affidavit, it was Devontae Owens. Another affidavit says the drugs belong to Owens and Fields. Owens seen in the Dallas County Jail intake. On Saturday, police arrested Laquan Wilkerson, charging him with aggravated kidnapping. An affidavit describes Wilkerson as an associate of Owens and a bodyguard. Late Saturday night, police were led to an abandoned East Oak Cliff home where the bodies of Shavon Randle and initial person of interest, 19-year-old Michael Titus, were found. An arrest affidavit says Dedmond Jones led police to that home. As they approached, Jones began to shake and became visibly upset. Thursday night in Irving, police arrested the other 2 persons of interest, LaPortia Polly and Darius Fields. They remain in jail on unrelated drug and weapons charges. Owens and Wilkerson are charged with aggravated kidnapping for ransom. Perkins is charged with aggravated robbery, and Jones is charged with failure to report a felony. Now, additional arrests could be made in this case, and additional charges are likely. So far, no one has been charged with the murder of Shavon Randle or 19-year-old Michael Titus. The medical examiner at this point has not determined the manner or cause of death. Clarice?
James, thank you. We want to let you take a look at the growing memorial outside of the vacant house where 13-year-old Shavon Randle was brutally murdered. The house being boarded up today by city workers, with city manager T.C. Broadnax getting a first-hand look. He says he will focus on getting rid of other empty structures. People are coming from as far away as Greenville to stand, stare, and weep.
I was fine, and the closer we got, it just started to sink in that a little 13-year-old girl is found dead inside this home. I have a 9-year-old grandson, and we just need to protect our children.
This pain is so deep that it has caused us to erupt something that I don't think we all really want to see, and that's how detached our children are from truth and from character and from moral, turpitude. This is bad. Oh, see.
Pastor Omar Jawar and his urban specialist nonprofit tries to turn teens away from the dangers of drugs and gangs and says we as a community must fight the culture that created the mindset that led to Shavon Randle's death. Today in court, the cousin of the murdered 13-year-old girl admitted that she withheld important information from police. The victim, Shavon Randle, was kidnapped and murdered in 2017 because of stolen drugs she had nothing to do with. Desmond Jones is on trial for a charge of organized crime in connection with Shavon's killing. Shavon's cousin testified today about the kidnapping, the stolen drugs, and another man found murdered with Shavon, Michael Titus. Fox 4's Sean Rabb is live at the Crowley Courthouse tonight. Sean.
Good evening to you, Clarice. Day 2 testimony, a complex storyline, heartbreaking details. You know, lead prosecutor Jennifer Falk in opening compared this case to a gigantic puzzle. Today, more of the sad puzzle pieces falling into place.
It's just like my little sister.
Many of those pieces coming through Shavon Randle's cousin, Ladoris Randle, whose boyfriend charged with aggravated robbery for the marijuana thefts, Kendall Perkins.
Did he sell drugs?
Yes.
Did he hit licks?
Yes.
Randle knew Perkins, KP, was going to hit a lick, rob someone. In this case, a dope theft. And she knew it was going to be Michael Titus and another man, Darius Fields. At the Lancaster Motel 6, he's caught on video in his white Camaro after the drugs were stolen and Shavon snatched. Randle got phone calls at work.
If he don't bring me back the drugs, then I'm going to kill the
Admitting under questioning by prosecutor Crystal Biggins that she, until much later, did not tell police or anyone what she knew.
So you don't mention anything about a Motel 6, is that correct?
Correct.
KP?
No.
You don't mention anything about, I guess, getting drugs back specifically?
Right.
Randle told the court she didn't because she was scared they might come after her. FBI agent Jennifer Mulligan put Desmond Jones in that Motel 6 room where the drugs were stashed with his own social media posts, flashing money. Michael Titus taking selfies with the weed, a gun also in that motel room. The white Ford 500, part of the Amber Alert for Shavon, belonged to the girlfriend of Desmond Jones. Prosecutors asked we not show her face for her safety. FBI agent Mulligan answering the puzzling question, why was Shavon killed?
In this kind of narcotics trafficking world, you can't appear to be a punk, I guess, for lack of better words. So if somebody steals from you, you have to prove to the community, prove to those that they can't do that to you.
Jennifer Mulligan says the kidnapping and killing of Shavon Randle was a message to the streets, but Shavon was not the intended target. They were initially after Ladoris Randle, Kendall Perkins' girlfriend, Shavon Randle's cousin, the one who knew what was going down and held back on giving that information up to police for some time. Tomorrow will be lots of pictures of crime scene and other evidence. Experts will take the stand as day 3 will roll tomorrow morning beginning at 8:45.
That is a brown paper bag with red stains.
They showed pictures from the crime scene, some of them so disturbing prosecutors asked the family if they wanted to leave. Even seasoned investigators say they were disturbed by how 13-year-old Shavon Randle, only in 7th grade, was found.
The smell and the level of decomposition was such that it absolutely took my breath away.
Prosecutors say Desmond Jones is the man who helped kidnap Shavon, drove her in this white Ford to the home in Oak Cliff where she was killed.
How was it that Shavon Randle was laying?
She was laying kind of on her stomach with her head turned to the side.
Prosecutors showed the pictures of weapons, bullets, and other items found in several cars belonging to Jones and 3 other suspects. And experts talked about how they painstakingly processed the crime scene, searching for bullet fragments.
We used a sifting material with 2 people kind of sifting through and looking to see what we find.
Defense lawyers criticized the investigation because some of the bullet fragments were found only after a second search of the home, a month after Randle was found. One of the last witnesses to testify was the medical examiner who said Randle was shot 4 times. 2 of those bullets went through her head and she died almost instantly. In Dallas, I'm Rebecca Lopez.
Where the bodies of 13-year-old Shavon Randle and 19-year-old Michael Titus were found. CBS 11 obtained 6 arrest warrants so far. They detail a string of events that started with the Amber Alert issued for Randle Wednesday. Police believe the killings are tied to drugs, robbery, and payback. Our Dan Haggerty is going through the documents. He will break down what police are saying about this complicated case at CBS 11 News at 6 o'clock.
Meanwhile, the family of Michael Titus is opening up about what they believe is his role in the drug dispute that led to the kidnapping of Shavon Randle. Gabriel Rojas is live outside the Oak Cliff home where investigators found the bodies.
Well, police are now keeping a close watch over this area that has become a memorial for the two people found here. And the family of Michael Titus is speaking out about what they say he did and did not do.
Never say he was a perfect child.
Michael Titus's family members will be the first to admit that the 19-year-old was no angel. Seen here in what relatives describe as an old photo posing with bags of marijuana, Titus was what his cousin considers a small player in a much bigger world.
Yeah, he was a little fish in a big old pond.
Shaquita Dyer says Titus looked up to Darius Fields and Devontae Owens, who she says drew him into the drug world and had him stand guard over a large stash of marijuana.
He was scared of them. You know what I'm saying? He was terrified. And when they got robbed, and they said Mike T was supposed to be there when they got robbed, and he wasn't, they blamed him for that. So because he got blamed for that, they had to take him.
Court documents describe the drug theft that led to the kidnapping of 13-year-old Shavon Randle for ransom. Investigators believe Owens is one of the people who kidnapped her. The Titus family says shortly before Randle was taken, they received a frightening message.
He had texted his girlfriend, you know, and he told his girlfriend, if you don't hear from me by Tuesday, let my mama know, because they done killed me.
Shavon Randle's loved ones will have a vigil here starting at 6:30 tonight. Also at 6:30, supporters of Michael Titus will have their own vigil nearby at the Cummings Recreation Center. We're live in Dallas. Gabriel Rojas, CBS 11 News.
We just don't understand why it's taking so long for the police to react on it.
The murder of an innocent girl on the minds of so many who want to know why no one has been charged with killing the 13-year-old. Good evening, I'm Clarice Tinsley. First on Fox News at 5:30, the teenager was found dead in an abandoned East Oak Cliff home July 2nd. Shavon Randle was collateral damage in a world of stolen drugs and retribution. But a turn in this case could come soon. Fox 4's Sean Rabb has new information tonight about the murder investigation.
Right, Clarice, the Lancaster police chief tells me their investigation is nearing its end and charges could soon be filed in Shavon Randle's murder along with Mike Titus. A murder so horrific, longtime Lancaster officers were shaken. A murder the public can't seem to shake. The flowers have faded. The balloons have lost their luster. But people still come to the house where Shavon Randle was found dead, with questions about why no one's been charged with her murder.
We just don't understand why it's taking so long for the police to react on it.
A lot of people want to know why it seemingly is taking so long to charge someone with Shavon Randle's murder.
In this instance, we want to be with accuracy, not speed.
Lancaster's police chief Samuel Urbanski says they're close to filing capital murder charges in Shavon's and Mike Titus's killings.
At this point, we're just kind of wrapping everything up and making sure we have a completed investigation prior to filing. The majority of the investigation is complete. It's just the filing that we're looking at. Again, we want to make sure we're accurate in our filing and that we file everything.
The 13-year-old kidnapped from Lancaster as ransom for drugs. Days later found dead along with Mike Titus, at one time a person of interest in her abduction. 6 people are in custody, some charged in Shavon's kidnapping, and maybe none talking to police in what is a complex investigation. Summer's heat couldn't keep Linda Marshall and Marvin Staten from coming to Oak Cliff, staring at the house where now even the teddy bears seem sad.
I think when you bring someone, child, into your stuff like this, you deserve to get the max.
The facts that we don't know yet, so disturbing, Lancaster police went through grief counseling.
I took it personally. My daughter turns 13 next week. I attended the funeral of Shavon. I feel like I knew Shavon, everything her family said. So I personally took it to heart, and I will never forget.
Now, the house itself, a notepad for messages. Those who knew Shavon and Mike, and strangers drawn by what they cannot comprehend.
Oh, it's so sad. It make you almost cry. She had to go through so much.
The chief telling me tonight, Clarice, they want to make sure they get everyone even remotely involved and make sure their paperwork is absolutely right. Adding they'll only get one chance at filing capital murder charges, and they want it to be right to make sure justice is served.
Sean, like so many people, the chief is right. People will not forget that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.